What if we've all been barking up the wrong tree and the latest romantic coupling is actually Olaf and Sven? In Icy Love, Olaf finally admits that he's been in love with the handsome reindeer since he first saw him. Hey guys, welcome to The Binger. Fan fiction is a brilliant way for Disney lovers to show their appreciation for the House of Mouse. Some people are really dedicated to this hobby too, spending hours penning alternative versions of our favorite movies. While they can get a little nuts and NSFW, others are literally so good they deserve an Academy Award. Let's take a look at 10 Disney fanfics better than the actual movie. Cars is your quintessential kids movie, with a younger than usual target audience. Toddlers go wild for Lightning McQueen and his pals. The chances are if you know a child under the age of 5, they've got some sort of Cars memorabilia kicking around in their bedroom. The franchise is just perfect for that age group. However, one inventive soul decided to rework the family-friendly movie in a distinctively adult way. The Western Front stars WW2 vet Sarge as the main protagonist and romantic lead. In the midst of the Battle of the Bulge, Sarge begins a relationship with a Sikorsky R4 helicopter named Robert. It's packed full of innuendo, interesting language, and a plot that is more 50 Shades of Grey than Hallmark. It's all about how Robert and Sarge try to make time for their secret love during a terrible war. Appropriate for a Disney movie? Of course not, but it would make a good wartime love story, that's for sure. Give it a chance, we say. If Brokeback Mountain can be a game changer, so can The Western Front. We can almost taste the Oscar. While we love us a Disney princess, there's no denying that some of the previous movies are problematic at best. Ariel, for instance, has everything that a mermaid could ask for under the sea. She's the daughter of a king, lives in a beautiful palace, and gets everything she wants. She's the favorite daughter, for crying out loud. Sure, her sisters are annoying, but you can't have everything. Life down under isn't enough for Ariel, and when she falls in love with a prince on land, she sacrifices everything to be with him. Does that send the right message to the youth of today? It's questionable. Luckily for us, the internet is here to rectify all things anti-feminist. The Not-So-Little Mermaid flips the script on the OG tale, placing Ariel as the heroine. Everything plays out as normal until Eric is about to tie the knot with Vanessa, aka Ursula. Then, Ariel manages to grab a handful of magical sea spinach, which makes her strong like Popeye. According to the tale, her lower fish half becomes very muscular, and her upper body swells with massive muscles. Ariel saves the day, and King Triton realizes he's powerful enough to make Ariel human whenever he wants. Hurrah! It's only natural that one of the biggest Disney movies of all time was given the fanfic treatment. In fact, the 2013 movie has been the subject of so many different retellings that it's almost impossible to pick one. We're all for inclusivity here at The Binger, so we've gone for this brilliant love story featuring two of our favorite characters, Sven and Olaf. There's been a huge amount of support shown for making Elsa the first LGBTQ Disney princess. What if we're all barking up the wrong tree and the latest romantic coupling is actually Olaf and Sven? In Icy Love, Olaf finally admits that he's been smitten with the handsome reindeer since he first saw him. The two go on a romantic walk through the wintry wilderness and become better acquainted. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. It's a little on the quiet side as Sven can't speak, but their love goes beyond the barriers of communication. Oh, if you think about it, it does sort of make sense. Olaf and Sven are both sidekicks, so put them together and tie it in a bow. Give the fandom what they want. Most Mary Poppins fanfiction goes down the route of Bert and Mary. It's subtly hinted in the OG movie that the pair may have some sort of romantic relationship going on, but it's never fully explored. Fans the world over have made up for that by creating their own stories, but some of them are so depraved that we couldn't possibly mention them here. Seriously, only look them up if you're in the mood for something specific. Instead, we're opting for this sweet story that was surprisingly thoughtful for an internet tale. On a snowy, wintry day, Mary Poppins returns to London. As she lands in the square, thanks to her magical umbrella, she bumps into Bert, who is just as cheeky and lovable as ever. As the two are talking, the bird woman comes into view. Mary seems to stare at her wistfully, so Bert asks her if she knows the woman. After some coaxing, Mary admits that the two of them went to school together and were once great friends. Clara started to age, but Mary, cursed with eternal youth and beauty, didn't. It's a candid little story that ties in nicely with the first movie. This incredible story doesn't center on just one Disney movie. Instead, it weaves together snippets from 7 different tales, hence the name. It takes all the happily ever after endings and turns them on their head, making it more depressing than The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. We haven't got enough time to go into every single aspect, so let's just skim the best parts. In Patient Zero, Princess Aurora does get together with Prince Philip, but their happiness is short-lived as the plague consumes their kingdom. If Thy Right Hand Offends Thee sees Princess Jasmine lose her hand for stealing. Aladdin swoops swoops in to save her and the genie magics her hand back on, Jasmine marries Jafar anyway, who does away with her father. Enraged and bitter, Jasmine becomes cruel, ruling over Agrabah with an iron fist. Belle gets her fair share of lumps too. Set in the French Revolution, our princess is charged with treason for supporting the cause and ends up losing her head to the guillotine. Cinderella, Rapunzel, Ariel, and Snow White don't get off scot-free either. Their fates are just as bad, if not worse, than the princesses we've already mentioned. No one is a winner here. This little ditty propels Cinderella into modern times and focuses on the relationship between Ella and her stepmom, Lady Tremaine. Although it largely shuns most of the story that we know and love about Cinders and her wicked mother figure, it's still worth a mention. It starts out with Cinders getting a C on her report card for French. Enraged, her stepmom asks Ella what the heck she's been playing at, considering she herself is a French teacher. She storms out, making it clear that she's going to check Ella's homework every day to bring her up to A standard. Overnight, Ella gets dreadfully sick, to the point where Tremaine has to whisk her off to the hospital. She almost doesn't make it, but luckily Ella is fine. But this close encounter makes mother and daughter realize that they really do care for one another after all. Is it soppy? Yes, absolutely. But this could really work as a Hallmark Christmas movie. The wicked stepmother with a heart? It kinda has a ring to it. One of the most intriguing characters in The Princess and the Frog is the Shadow Man, but he didn't get nearly enough screen time. One savvy fan decided to remedy that with their own interesting story, Playing Around with the Shadow Man. Set 8 years after Tiana and Naveen tie the knot, the tale focuses on the complications surrounding their family life. The restaurant business is booming, but due to his father's sickness, Naveen has to relocate to Maldonia. Along with Tiana and their 2 children, Ariella and Nathaniel, Naveen settles back into life as the son of a king. Things quickly go awry when Fossilier comes back from the grave and hurts Nathaniel. In order to save his son, Naveen sacrifices himself and ends up becoming a frog again. Embarrassed to show his wife his new form, he hides it from her until she discovers his lifeless body. Tiana tells her amphibian hubby that she loves him regardless, and they live happily ever after. At least, as happy as they can be when one of you is green and slimy. What do you get when you put Snow White together with some wicked fairies? The result is something Maleficent herself would be impressed by. In The Harpy's Wings, Snow White is about to marry her Prince Charming when an evil sorceress busts her way into the chapel and demands that he marry her and not Snow. That's a big, bold gesture. Everyone loves a little drama at a fictional wedding, don't they? Otherwise, it's all I do's and congratulations. Where's the fun in that? The prince refuses, but he's no match for the witch, who freezes all of the guests and abducts the dumbstruck royal. Snow doesn't know what to do, so she calls on a wingless harpy to help her out. As you do, they use the old queen's magic mirror to get the harpy's wings back, and together they track down the sorceress. Once the prince is back in her loving arms, things get back to normal. It's not Snow White if it doesn't have some sort of wicked being in it, is it? The queen might not have perished, but there's plenty of room for fans to make up their own villains. Tangled introduced Rapunzel into the Disney princess canon in an epic way. Mother Gothel was a formidable villain, and Rapunzel and Eugene's romance is something to behold. There's nothing like coaxing your new love interest by smashing them over the head with a frying pan. The adorable lovers were given the old fanfic treatment by one fanfiction.net user, aptly named DisneyLover115. The events unfold 6 months after Eugene and Rapunzel get together and focuses on Eugene's beginnings. Prompted by his new love, Rapunzel's man tells of his humble upbringing raised by his 2 parents in their farmhouse. Times were tough, but they got by. Sadly, Eugene's mom passed away from scarlet fever not long after he was born. Eugene's dad ends up resenting his son, which led Eugene to become Flynn Rider. As fans don't get to see or hear his backstory a lot, this could make for an interesting spin-off. Everyone always roots for the underdog, don't they? Is there any Disney movie more universally loved than Toy Story? The entire franchise gets adults and kids involved. There's characters for everyone, and let's face it, Tim Allen and Tom Hanks are the best pairing since bread and cheese. The franchise has covered a lot of ground, but not nearly as much as the fan fiction has. In The Body Swap, things get crazy in the best way. Set after Andy hands Woody down to his sister Bonnie, it's revealed that the two get switched without realizing. Woody was the mastermind behind the operation, and he isn't ready to give Andy up quite yet. There's a lot of lightning, a thunderstorm, and before you know it, Andy is in Bonnie's body and Bonnie is in Andy's body. The kids try to get Mom's help, only to discover that Mom has switched bodies with their dog. This simple yet entertaining story completely encapsulates the humor that Toy Story has. Could writers run with it and insert it into an actual franchise? Probably not, because magic just wouldn't work. As weird as it sounds, considering it's all about toys that have their own personalities, magic wouldn't fit into the Toy Story world. That doesn't mean that we can't take this wild ride and embrace it as part of our Disney-led fantasies, though. Sometimes the best ones are the ones that are a million miles away from what you'd expect. Which one would you like to see play out on the big screen? Sound off in the comments. Before you go, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss a thing. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next video.